Welcome back to another episode of Iniquitous News. I am your host, Lawrence Johnson. Don't forget to hate and subscribe. In today's episode, we talk about Tyler Robinson, the one that has now been arrested and is currently in custody for assassinating Charlie Kirk. Now, are there some conspiracy theories? Of course, 100%. We will dive into those in a little bit. But now, let's just walk us through, step by step, how we got to this day exactly. Now, his Facebook and everything like that has all been scrubbed, but I was able to pull some things off of Twitter, off of different images, basically to look at his early family life, and screams Republican family. Now, obviously, their entire narrative is that, well, he got radicalized once he got to college, and then because once you go to college, you become woke and gay. That's just what they say. It kills me because I'm like, a lot of Republicans also go to college, like the ones that are in the Supreme Court, the ones that are in government, the ones that are lawyers, some of them scientists, some of them just engineers, some of them entrepreneurs, but a lot of them stop in college. But I digress. So as we look through these family pictures, his dad, registered Republican, mom, registered Republican, and he's had guns in his family since the ages of like 6 or 7. He's been shooting them. So that could also explain why he was able to hit this shot from 200 yards away, where, like I said before, a lot of people that shoot guns or a lot of people that hunt or a lot of people that are former military trained said, if you have a rifle with a scope, then most likely you will be able to hit a target like this if you've been shooting. Now, if it's me or you, regular person just going up there from up top, angled down, and we most likely fucking miss. But somebody that has guns in his family since ever, he probably knows how to shoot a thing or two. But obviously there's always a point of me that's like, it's weird of, I guess, the timing, because as soon as a lot of people started to point their fingers at Israel, all of a sudden this kid came forward and his dad turned him in and drove him into the police station. Now, I don't want to get into conspiracy, but I'm just saying, it was very odd that all of a sudden a lot of people were pointing their finger over there, and Benjamin Netanyahu was the first person to wish his prayers towards him. It's like, how the fuck did you find out before any of our government officials, and basically tweeted at the exact same time as our president? And then there's also the fact that Charlie was no longer supporting Israel as much as he used to. He used to be an actual talking puppet. But then recently, over the past, 2 to 3 months, he started to question October 7th. Did they give a stand-down order? Which has always been a question because, as he stated, you can't go around Gaza more than 15 minutes or more than 15 steps for real without seeing an IDF soldier with a gun, especially on that border. So how did they just all of a sudden break in and then for 6 hours were able to massacre people? Those are the questions he was asking. And because of that, he was starting to be called anti-Semitic. He was starting to push back even more, where he's like, wait a second, someone like Tom Alexandrovich, how did he just get released and extradited over to Israel after the crimes that he committed here? How did his passport not get revoked immediately? These were all questions that he was asking. And now Benjamin Netanyahu has taken his time out of his genocidal spree and war with 5 other countries at the same time to pop over on here on TV as much as possible and talk about Charlie Kirk's legacy and his loyalty to Israel. Very, very fucking odd, if you ask me. Now, back to Tyler Robinson. The family did say that days leading up, or maybe like a week ago, they had a dinner all together, family dinner, and Tyler even talked about out loud how much he dislikes Charlie and hated him. Now, the right-wing narrative, obviously, this entire time has been, oh, this must be a trans supporter, oh, he must be gay, or he was a person of color. Neither was true. He was a white male, which is almost 98 or 99% of the time what is going to be. That's just the statistics and how they fall, especially when it comes to assassinations/school shootings, mass shootings, that type of stuff. We're not speaking on gang violence here, obviously. But now the question comes, the information we've been given, why was the FBI lying to us? Well, at least to me. Because if you remember, they showed this gun and said, oh, this was found inside the woods, and this is how he kind of tracked him down. But then if you see this video that they released, it shows Tyler running off of the roof, jumping down from the roof onto the ground and then grabbing this bag and putting it back on. So the gun could have been in the bag, but they also said that he disassembled the gun and then reassembled it and then left it in the woods, which makes zero fucking sense if you ask me, which also makes me raise a couple eyebrows. Because what would you do that for? And then there was this trans ideology, supposedly, that was found on the casings. But then you now hear about the casings, and that doesn't line up with trans ideology, if you ask me. The one said, like a ooh-woo face, and then look at this bulge. Is that a bulge? AKA, to me, making fun of trans. The other one said, if you're reading this, you're gay. Laughing my ass off. Usually a right-wing joke or someone that's more on that side of things who's like, oh yeah, gay jokes are hilarious. Then we have Bella Ciao, Ciao Bello, Chai Bello, whatever. And then the last one is basically take this fascist with a up signal, a right signal, and then 3 down signals. Which if you ever played Helldivers or Helldivers 2, that basically means you're dropping a 500-kilogram bomb. So those were the actual casings found. Which is also odd to me that why would he leave those casings just out in the open and not just the one-shot casing, but whatever. So then we look at this video now of before the shooting. He was seen limping, which I really just think the gun was in his pants leg as he was approaching the school. But they also reported that they have Tyler on camera at the school in a different outfit. So did he leave, then put on this black outfit, and then come back to school? But that wouldn't add up because they said that he changed once he was on the roof into this all-black outfit. So to me, there's a lot of discrepancies of what we're being told. And still, I feel like this, regardless if you grew up with guns, is a very, very professional type of hit, if you ask me. But again, I'm not no professional sniper. I'm not Chris Kyle, so what the fuck would I know? But I do know that now that he has been pronounced as Tyler Robinson, and now that he's known as a straight white male, the right wing, as you can see, has completely changed their tune of how much they hated everyone and how much they were ready to go to civil war. People like Nancy Mace, that dumbass dweeb bitch, at first was calling for the death penalty, which, hey, you know, whatever. But then when she found out who it was, after she went on TV and said, now I have to deal with this trans crazy person that decided to kill Charlie Kirk, she immediately switched her tune up and said, oh, well, Charlie would pray and hope he finds Jesus. And now she says we should pray for him because that's what Charlie would have wanted. That's a drastically fast switch up. And you should really go look in the mirror and think like, damn, do I really believe this? Or is it when I found out information, I just create my own narrative to believe what I want to believe? Because that's what a lot of these people are. And then it gets worse. Donald Trump obviously sent his prayers a couple times to Charlie Kirk. But then, interestingly enough, you know, an interviewer asked him, oh, how are you holding up? And I've never seen someone deflect so fast. Take a look.
How are you holding up over the last 3.5 years?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Not I love Charlie. Not, oh, Charlie was a good friend of mine. Oh, this is a difficult thing that I'm going through. It's hard to lose someone close to you that's such a loyal supporter. Yeah, I'm doing great. What you didn't know is I'm building some stuff over here. Ballroom is begun. It's like, damn, son. Like, one of your biggest supporters that you supposedly called a legendary martyr in your chopped up AI apology, announcement video. Now, it's just no love lost. Yeah, I feel great. Focus on this ballroom, though. It's like, damn. This man has been supporting you for like the last 12 years. Once he was of age to do anything, he's been on your side, basically on his knees. And you're doing great? I ain't gonna lie, that man ain't give a fuck about Charlie. Which also makes me question, like, did he have involvement? Did he know that this hit was gonna happen? Because still, to me, Utah, of all places, is very random, but the timing isn't random. Epstein files get voted on, Republicans block it, and at the same exact time, Charlie Kirk gets killed. Then someone takes off from a jet about 12 to 15 minutes away within the hour of this shooting, then completely goes dark on their radar and disappears. It's another odd bit of information. Then we think about George Zinn, the old guy that was wrongly accused at first, but once you hear civilian testimony say he literally was proclaiming he was the one that shot him. And then as he's getting arrested, he's screaming, "Shoot me, shoot me." His background, Ashkenazi Jew. Now the question is, were there multiple people that were in on this? There's also been people that were looking at his security behind him that saying he was giving weird hand signals. But George Zinn seems like a perfect decoy to then get a bunch of people away, because if you don't remember, the first 2 hours of this happening, almost everyone was blaming him. National media outlets, most people, because everyone was saying he was the one that did it and he was arrested. Then someone else gets arrested. Kash Patel, the dweeb of the year, and fucking idiot, I might add, then makes a tweet saying, "Oh, we have him thanks to the Utah police." And then an hour later says, "Oh, we're releasing him out of custody." And then all of a sudden, the blame started to shift towards Israel, because everyone started to ask, who has anything to gain from this? Blocking the Epstein files, continuing their war in Qatar and Doha, and continuing their genocide. And then after that happens, within the next 12 hours, we have our guy, who just happened to be turned in by his own father that made the call because he had a feeling that was him. And Tyler was able to get 250 miles away. So did he have his own car and drive there, but didn't leave the state? I don't know, people. My thing is I would love to have a live, uncut interview that every single person can tune in, whether that's NBC, ABC, Fox News, CNN, 60 Minutes, AP, Reuters, I don't care. We get one interviewer to go interview Tyler Robinson himself, live. Because most of the time, people like this die. Or they commit suicide, and we never get to hear from them. But if we were able to interview him right now, live, we could hear his ideologies, we can hear his background, we could hear what radicalized him, supposedly, and we could hear what his reasoning was of this was his best solution to carry this out. And the fact that he was talking to his friends on Discord saying, "Hey, I need this gun planted in a bush." So if that was actually true, why are you not arresting the friend that planted the gun or helped him out? These are all questions that I have that haven't been answered yet, but could definitely be answered, and the speculation could end if we could just see and talk to Tyler. But I have a feeling, a very strong feeling, they're not going to do that. And we may never ever hear from Tyler again. When in reality, that's exactly what we need. Because if this is the person you say did that, well, let's prove it. I want to hear from his own mouth why he did it. Go ahead. You can publicly shame him. You can sentence him to death after. I could give two fucks. Violence to me is never the answer. But now that this has happened, why don't we hear from the supposed assassination person? I want to hear from him. I don't know about you at home, but I don't want to just hear from other people and other people in these random positions who this guy is or what his narrative was. That's for motherfucking sure. Especially people like Kash Patel. How am I going to believe this guy? And then, 1 second, Kash Patel then gave a speech. And at the end, he basically signed off to Charlie to tell him, rest in peace. And when I tell you, it was one of the cringiest statements I have ever heard in my life. I need you to hear this.
To my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch. And I'll see you in Valhalla.
I could tell you practiced that in the mirror probably 5,000 times last night in your little hotel room, and you really thought you cooked up. That was one of the dumbest fucking things and cringiest things, and I hope you know you're a dweeb and everybody's making fun of you. First thing is first, Valhalla? Who is this? Kratos? God of War? Halo? Valhalla? My guy, the dude that died, Protestant Christian, dickhead. Valhalla, he ain't gonna meet you there, stupid. You are just a terrible, terrible person for this position, a real fucking idiot. And I hope you know, saying dumbass things like this, now that's gonna live in infamy. You could have just said, rest in peace, brother, or I pray for your family, but instead you try to give like this army go gung-ho, I'm powerful and you should get behind me. We'll take the watch. Rest easy, brother. I'll meet you in Valhalla. It's like, no the fuck you will not. Ever. You're an idiot. And then the guy that also made the announcement from Utah was one of the, I guess you could try to say it wasn't racist, but it seemed about as racist of a statement as I could possibly hear that could be made without blatantly saying racism out loud. And what was that statement? Well, he was asked about his thoughts on before the shooter and who he thought it was. Listen to this great answer.
I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here.
I was just hoping it wasn't one of us. I was hoping it was somebody from a different country or an immigrant so we could say we don't do this. Shocker. Newsflash, buddy. You do this. Straight white males usually shoot up schools. Usually the ones that carry out these type of assassination hits. And have you ever heard about what your state and what it was built on by the Mormons? I got a Netflix show I could point you to. Very violent, very gruesome, a lot of lies, a lot of killing. So honestly, that's exactly who you are. I'm just saying. But the fact that you're just so open about your bigotry / hope that it was not one of us is very eye-opening to me, to be honest. And now, what happens after this? During the next weeks, during the next month, how do we move on? How long will Tyler Robinson stay in the news media cycle? As you can see, Trump's already, I'm over this bullshit. Because, in my personal opinion, he either knew about it or he had something to do with it. And I think it's BB the Bomber fucking over there pulling off that bullshit. Saying, hey, we need something to happen so we can start and make you guys verse each other and start this little sparked up civil war. Because if we can do that, then no one's going to ask us about what the fuck is going on. They're going to start pointing fingers at each other and then everything gets forgotten. Not going to fucking work, buddy. And then you have other people that are going to Twitter and going online saying, we need white men to meet up in March for Charlie Kirk. White lives matter. No, I'm serious. And then listen to their, 15-person fucking march.
White man fight back! White man fight back! White man fight back! White man fight back!
Whites fight back. Versus who? You gonna fight yourself? You gonna say, oh, wait, whites fight back. Oh, who shot him? White guy. Bow. Who the fuck you fighting back against? They're so confusing to me. Whites fight back. And it's like, fighting back from what? What was the last 250 years? 300 years? Was y'all not in the lead? Did you not have slaves or something? Who are you fighting back? Who's the white male oppressor in this country that I just need to be like watching out for like the boogeyman? Whites fight back. No. Whites tone it down. Like, relax. We don't need a civil war. We don't need a fight. Fight back. I mean, you're literally just going to be fighting each other, yourselves. As you can see from this assassination, that was white-on-white violence. Maybe from the same political party. I don't know. That shit just confused me. I was like, wait, whites fight back? Who we fighting? My half side, he was knocking. He was like, you want to hear what's up? I have no idea. Whites fight back. My God. I mean, I'm just so confused. It's like, who is letting y'all think that you're oppressed? Like, show me a white male that's really struggling right now and doing down bad. And I'm gonna be like, well, I don't know what you want from us. What the fuck? You should probably look at the government, the 1%. They the ones that don't really give a fuck about y'all. And that's the other thing. That's what we need to realize. This is not left versus right. This is the 1% versus the 99%. You know who figured that out? Nepal. That's the thing. You probably haven't heard about Nepal, have you? I know. It's because our mainstream media doesn't want you to know that Gen Z just overthrew their government. Right? Exactly. Shocker. You probably didn't hear about that. Well, here's a video of them burning the parliament.
The winner takes it all.
And you may be thinking, wait, why would Gen Z overthrow Nepal? Well, because their government was doing exactly what our government is doing. Hoarding the money to the 1%. And this government's daughters, sons, kids flexing on social media. We rich, y'all ain't got shit, and people in Nepal really ain't have shit. And all of a sudden, Gen Z was like, wait a second. Enough is enough. You know how many people we got compared to how many people they got? Oh, yeah, we on the way. They pull up, first thing they do, grab the financier, minister, pull him out, start beating his ass in the street. Then took his ass down by the river, beating his ass through the river while people watching. Prime Minister, he's like, oh, hold on. Let's get our security here. They're like, man, fuck security. They pull up. Boom. Hey, Prime Minister, what's up? You shitting me? People start firing live rounds at them. They don't give a fuck. They keep on pressing, standing on business, burn the parliament to the ground. Prime Minister finally steps down. They're like, no. You're not just going to put another person in position. Enough is enough. You think we're going to stop? They keep on pushing. Then the government finally is like, all right. Hands up. What do we do? What's up? Gen Z said, we're going to have our own election through our Discord. If you guys want to vote, go ahead and vote. They vote their own person into a position. The army chief of the Nepal government now respects this person, interim prime minister. And Gen Z just proved to you in Nepal that you can make change within a week. And why did this all happen? Because they started to notice and started to talk. And then the government, what did they do? They tried to shut them down. Shut off all social media. Geo-blocked it. And they're like, what, do you think we can't just go meet up? Now, in Nepal, they didn't lose that many lives, but there was 20 to 30 of them that got shot with live rounds. And how many did they kill on the other side? That has not been recorded yet, but they weren't moving like that. They said, no, we're just going to swarm them in numbers, overrun them, and then we are going to take control of our government. And while all this is happening, I just need you to understand, it's not like they're just fighting and beating up each other in the streets. No, there's tourist buses going by, and they're like, oh, hold on, stop. Let the tourist bus go through. We can go back to this revolution in a second. They're waving to the tourist bus. Tourists are up there like, oh, wow, at least we feel safe. You can have a revolution and not just destroy and hate everybody and kill everybody around you. This proves that people with numbers win. And I am so impressed by Nepal. And I know I deserve to be impressed just by how much and how little our government has been showing anything about this. It's very eye-opening, right? Because if you're sitting there and thinking like, oh, I didn't even know or hear about Nepal, it's for a reason. Shout out to you, Nepal. That is amazing shit right there. You just overtook your government. I hope America, at some point in time, we can get on the same page, look at the left, look at the right, and be like, oh, we not that different. But I know one thing. You kind of struggling? Yeah, I'm kind of struggling. You not making as much anymore? I'm not making as much anymore. You paying for a lot more, though? Yeah, I'm paying for a lot more. And then we're like, wait, so who is getting everything? Well, there's this guy, Elon Musk. There's this guy, Donald Trump. There's this guy, Eric Trump. There's this guy, Joe Biden. There's this guy, there's this woman, Nancy Pelosi. There's a lot of people in this government that publicly trade stocks and are scared to go broke, and so they withhold information. There is healthcare that is every single day fucking people over any chance that they get. And then we have things like ICE, moving and grooving, vibing and sliding like the Gestapo. People, we have to stand together. Not versus each other. I'm a hater. You know me, I be hating on everybody. But you got to send that hate in the right direction. We on the same side. Whether you left or right, it's 99 versus the 1. And that's the thing, 99%, we got 99% more people too. Yeah, they more powerful. But at some point in time, just saying, we may need to step the motherfucker up. I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Iniquitous News. Don't forget to hate and subscribe. Don't forget to share this shit all over the place. Next Wednesday, this episode is going to be on Patreon. It's going to be my first Patreon episode, and I'm going to link that again. And I hope you guys can, come join me over there. And we're going to keep this shit motion in the ocean, you feel me? I'm going to be back on Friday. Don't forget, stay festive feeling, iniquitous, and viciners at all times. I'm out.
You've just tuned in to another edition of Iniquitous News Network with Lawrence Johnson. Don't forget to hate and subscribe.